Welcome to POREC, Croatia, for the FITA European Archery Grand Prix and World Cup event.
FITA is the International Archery Federation, so governing archery worldwide. We have now 142 member associations, so covering most of the planet. And you'll see also here, most of the planet is represented here on the field today. We have the World Cup here, which is the first time we'll do this event, which will be 4 qualifying events with a final at the end of the season. Croatian Federation in general, they had very good World Field Championships 2 years ago, and this is, I think, the 3rd Grand Prix they are organizing here in this event. It's a sport that will always be there because it's linked to human history, but sometimes people tend to go away because perhaps not so interesting enough, but now we make sure that the format of the competition is good so that people keep and get interest into the sport. One of the things in the think tank we are thinking of is that for the future we might change the format of the compound competition to make it clear what the difference is between compound and recurve. This is, I would say, part of our program to make sure archery is and remains on the Olympic program for the 2009-2016 period, but we are also working on a plan for 2012 to make sure that it's not even a question in 2013 if archery should be, it will be one of the Olympic sports.
We have started this year with the World Cup. We have a World Cup series staged in 4 countries. We have this in Croatia, then we have Antalya in Turkey, we have El Salvador, and then we have the final in Shanghai in China. And we are expecting to have record of participation in each of the events. We have national federations in 123 countries. The archery is one of the sports that we can combine a family competing. I can have a father, a daughter, even the grandfather competing in the same competition. Our sport is not a strong physical sport. Our sport is a balance between physical, technique, mental and motivation.
And you join us for the compound individual women's gold final. Anna Katsantseva-Bologova from Russia versus Jamie Van Natter from the United States of America. You join us for the first arrow in the 3rd end, with Anna to shoot first on target 1, with Anna at 54 points and Jamie at 57.
Yes, and Anna looking very calm, and it's a 10, so the show is clearly not over for Anna. Jamie takes aim, and it's a 9. Certainly the wind is giving these archers a lot of work.
We need another 10 from Anna, and it is a 10. That keeps her gold medal hopes alive.
Very committed posture from Jamie, looking straight down the line. And it's an 8. She won't be happy with that.
Anna takes aim, perfect composure.
9 points.
It's a 9. That brings her score to this end to 29 from a possible 30. Can Jamie pull back?
And it's a 10. Excellent. So at the end of the 3rd, it's Anna with 83 points to Jamie's 84. Too close to call. It's all down to the final end. Jamie getting plenty of support from this crowd and also from her team. I was talking to Anna before the match, and she told me that she had very little time to prepare for this competition.
Let's just take a look at those scores. Too close to call. Anna on 83 with Jamie 84 at the moment. Jamie looks at the countdown clock, begins for her component. Anna takes aim, waiting for a break in the wind, and release the first arrow of this 4th and final end. 9 for Anna.
Jamie looking very much on form, takes aim with the wind whipping across the face of the targets. Another 8. So Anna takes aim for her second arrow.
9 points.
9 points.
The arrow is considered
And there's
short
drama.
and travels
Jamie has
forward.
lost an arrow due to a malfunction, which means no score for this second arrow of the fourth end. This is a very rare occurrence, and Jamie must be kicking herself.
His final arrow.
Jamie aims for this shot, which can only be for honour. It's a 9.
Semi-final round taking place on field A.
And Jamie obviously disappointed, but immediately searches for her lost arrow, which cost her the final. So Anna from Russia takes the gold with 26 points from the final end, to bring her total to 109 for the match.
A great shame for Jamie, but congratulates Anna nonetheless on a splendid win. A difficult final for both archers. Score there, Anna 109, Jamie 101.
Yes, Mark, excellent stuff there. D. Wild enjoying a terrific morning of archery.
So this is the compound individual men's bronze final. Dominique Genet from France versus Belgium's Philippe Riels. We join Dominique and Philippe in the fourth and final end of the match with 1 point between the two archers.
And it's a 9 for Belgium.
France very well represented here in Croatia with 13 archers representing both compound and recurve disciplines.
And it's a 10 for Dominic, so Dominic extends his lead by 1 point.
The clock starts counting down as Philippe takes aim. You can see the strength required to accurately aim with a compound bow. As Philippe comes back with a 10.
Dominic extremely focused, demonstrating the composure needed here in these windy conditions.
Well, and it's a 9 for Dominique. So it's really all to play for as we prepare for the final arrow from Philippe.
Can Philippe grab something back with his final arrow? It's a 9.
So Dominique must shoot at least a 9 to take the bronze medal. Dominic, of course, came 14th at the Outdoor Target Championship in Madrid in 2005. Takes aim. And he does it. It's a 9.
Yes, 28 points to 28 in the final end. Dominic takes the win after taking a 1 point lead in the third end that Philippe could never recover from.
There is great support from the French spectators, tremendous atmosphere and a great performance from both archers in this tightly contested bronze final. Take a look at that final score. Dominique 112, Philippe 111. At the end of the competition, Dominic scoring 688 from a possible 720 points. Welcome to the men's compound final between Rio Wilds of the United States and Emil Koesters of the Netherlands.
We join Rio and Emil at the start of the second end after Rio scored 29 from a possible 30 to Emil's 28. So it's Emil to shoot first.
9 points for Emil. Rio takes time to line up the target before raising his bow. Look at that concentration. No shortage of determination. It's a 10. Excellent shot from Rio. 9 again for Emil. Rio once again solid. 9 for Rio.
Emil may be sensing a break with Rio's last arrow. Can he make a 10 from this shot?
And it's a 10 on the line.
Liner. Looks like it's in from here.
As Rio really rock solid as he aims for his final arrow of the end. It's a 10.
And Rio actually discovering some of the form he had back in 2004 when he came first at the National Target Championships in Pennsylvania. So scores after the second end stand at 58 points for Rio and 55 for Emil.
Emil, of course, who came first place in the European Grand Prix in 2005 in Antalya.
So let's take a look at the scores. Compound men's individual, Rio Wild at 87 with Emil Kustas at 83. So first arrow of the fourth and final end. 8, not enough for Emil.
Rio lines up perfectly balanced, no movement at all from the bow as he prepares for the shot.
9 from Rio.
Just shy of the 10 ring.
We now jump to the final arrow of the fourth end. So close, but not close enough. 9 again for Emil. And it's a 10 for Rio, takes the gold. His second consecutive 10 of the end. Gets a hug from a very happy father and his opponent.
4 ends, 29 points in each end. Rio a true champion. Excellent performance from Rio.
116 points in total. Superb. So look at the final scores. Rio Wild 116, Emil Kustas 109. Rio taking that clearly.
I mean, the wind was a challenge, and so it made an interesting deal to get it down and get it done. I mean, you just never knew which way it was going to go, so it was always a challenge to try and outguess the wind. So I was being very careful. I mean, I wanted to make sure every arrow counted a little more and a little more. Last arrow was a little different with a few more points available. I mean, I wanted to make sure it went down there and the wind didn't catch me and really throw it bad. So
Before we go to the recurve competition, let's take a look at some of the faces from the world of archery.
Wow, you know, a 15-year-old capable of shooting scores like that can only be explained by 2 things. Good coaching, nerves of steel. She's a great shooter, and I'm expecting we'll see some great things from her in the future. Archery is a very exciting sport. In order for us to keep it exciting, what we need to do is keep matches moving so spectators can see what's happening very quickly in real time. All of us, for the most part, are doing this out of, you know, the desire to help the sport succeed and to help it grow worldwide.
I am from Greece, Athens. My name is Eleni Ioannou. I am 15 years old. Yes, I'm still in school, and when my school finished, I want to be a coach. My father was archery, and so I had asked him if he let me to do that, and of course he told me yes. I was with recurve, but I changed because I didn't shoot good. This is a present from my cousin. Okay, this is my first. I think this is lucky for me. This is dirty, but this is lucky for me. I like that. Okay. And I have here. Of course. It's a monkey. Hello.
My name is Dee Wild. I'm from Pocatello, Idaho. I turned professional in archery back in 1986. I was ranked #1 in the world every year but 2 from 1989 through August of 2000. We're lucky as far as the fact that the equipment we can set up for just about anybody, whether it be really young, as you were mentioning, the young lady from Greece that shot, to myself, who's over 55 years old. Well, I'm still able to compete because the equipment we've got nowadays has so much more adjustability. There's a lot of different ways to go. I mean, there may be some peaks as far as some of the equipment may be there, but there's so much more technology out there to be learned, even in terms of what our bodies can or can't do. If you don't love this sport, you can't do it because it costs you money. I don't care how good you are.
You join us for the recurve women's bronze final. Temperature, as you can see, 20 degrees centigrade. Wind 5.5 kilometers. Variable direction. That will not make it easy for the archers. You can see it's all to play for. Pia Carmen on 81 with Natalia on 80. This is the first arrow of the final end.
Natalia, who represented her country in the Sydney Olympic Games in 2000 and in the same year came first place in the European Championships. Then went on to Athens, the Athens Olympics in 2004. And it's an 8 for Natalia.
Pia Carmen's taking plenty of time over this first arrow.
Perfectly still.
10. She'll be pleased with that.
Natalia again aims, and it's another 8. This can only be good news for the on-form Italian.
9. You can hear the wind on the microphones. There are no easy arrows out there today. It's another 8. Pia Carmen, looking quite the picture in her Paddington Bear hat, shoots. 9. That's it.
Pia wins the match and the bronze medal. Great win. She deserves the hug there.
Italia fought well, but could not get out of the 8s in that final end. Throughout the course of the competition, Italia scored 624 from 72 arrows compared to the 604 of Pia Carmen. So congratulations to both archers, but it's Pia who takes the bronze. And there you can see the final scores. Pia 109, Natalia 104, and you can see Natalia in that final end couldn't get above the 8s.
So for the recurve women's individual gold medal match, Margarita Galinovskaya against Mora Frigeri. Mora facing some tough competition here, but has shot very well, and that win against Natalia in the semi-final round will have boosted her confidence greatly.
So we join Margarita and Mora for the first arrow of the second end, with Mora to shoot first. Mora just 1 point behind with 29.
It's a 2, and that's really bad news for the Italian. What a shame.
Margarita, who scored 30 points with her first 3 arrows, scores a 9.
Mora, you can feel the frustration. Bad luck.
We now jump to the first arrow of the fourth and final end in this women's recurve final, with Mora trailing by some 11 points after that unfortunate 2 in the second end. So a slight movement on release there. 7. Margarita really driving this final now.
Yes, terrific exhibition from the Russian. Standing perfectly still, and it's 9 points.
Mora, very determined, great sportswoman and athlete. 8 points. Come on, Mora. Still 1 arrow.
Margarita again looking totally committed. 10!
Mora knows the match is all but over, but she remains focused on the final arrow.
It's a 10. Well, what a way to finish. The score doesn't do her justice. Excellent stuff from this Italian star.
Margarita responds. And it's a 10. 29 points from her final round. Excellent performance from the Russian. Gold to Margarita, silver to Mora.
So at the end of the competition, Mora scored 583 from a possible 720, that's 72 arrows, and Margarita scored 630.
So there we see the confirmation of the final results. Margarita 116, Mora 101, and you can see that horrible 2 there that Mora scored. Italy once again, this time Marco Cagliazzo, who steps up in this recurve bronze final. We'll be facing Markian Ivashko from the Ukraine.
Number 2, representing Ukraine, Markian Ivashko.
Markian, who lost by 2 points to Sweden's Magnus Peterson in the semi-final, will be looking to improve on the 2 10s he scored to the 5 scored by Magnus.
European Grand Prix.
So he joined the match with Marco shooting his final arrow of the first end, with Markian leading by 2 points. 9 points for Marco. Can Markian produce a third 10 from this final arrow?
9 points.
No, 9 points, making Markian's total for the first end 29
It'll be Marco Galeazzo shooting first on the next end.
And we get confirmation there. 27 points from the first end for Marco. So game on.
We now rejoin the match in the third end, and it's Marco shooting his second arrow of the match. Eight points.
Marquien releases, and it's a 10. This is his fifth 10 of the match so far.
Another 10 from Marco.
Can Marquien make it another 10?
No, it's a 9. And that brings us to the close of the third end, and the scores are Marco with 84 points and Marquien with 86. Both archers scoring 5 10s each.
European Grand Prix.
Marquien, who came 8th in the European Grand Prix in Antalya 2005,
3 more arrows.
looking very on form here today.
And that match went down to the final arrow with 1 point between the two archers in the final end. So, final scores, Marco Galeazzo of Italy, 113 points, and the winner, Marquien Ivashko from Ukraine, with 114.
And it's India's Jayanta Talukdar who joins Sweden's Magnus Petersen for this recurve final.
Jayanta, who arrived in POREC a favourite after his win in the first round of the Asian Grand Prix in February, faces tough competition from one of archery's ambassadors, Magnus Petersen. Magnus, who represented Sweden in the Athens Olympics in 2004, coming 23rd.
We join the match in the fourth and final end with Magnus shooting first.
And it's an 8 for the Swede. That's his third. Both archers have now scored 3 8s.
Very relaxed posture there from Jayanta. Look at the way he brings the bow up to the shooting level.
And that's a 10 for the Indian. And the clock's counting down. Oh, that's a 9. That is not good for Magnus. Bad luck.
Jayanta, one of around 500 archers competing on the Indian circuit, and of course already one of the stars of the Asian circuit.
Oh, it's close. Judge calls 9 points. Very close indeed.
Final arrows.
Final arrow for Magnus. Important shot. And it's a 10.
Final arrow of the end and the match.
Seven will tie, 8 will win.
There's a 10. Second bullseye of the end for Jayanta. 29 points from the final end. 108 points from the match. Commiserations to our silver medalist, a great man with a terrific sense of competition spirit. 27 points from the final end, 105 from the match. So it's Jayanta Talukdar of India who takes the match with a 3-point margin and the gold medal.
We've just seen confirmation of those scores there. 108 for Jayanta.
105 for Magnus. And look at that. 8s and 9s. 1-7 there for Magnus. That was it.
When I shot my last 2 arrows, I feel very confident and I think I can win. My coach and my experience all helping me to win this match.
I was expecting for sure India and Russia. US has always been strong, and Italy was the 4th strongest nation. Those are the first 4 in the rankings.